Welcome to Movie Recap Pro. Today we're revisiting the chaotic revels that are the Guardians of the Galaxy and daring to imagine a fourth installment. Yes, we know James Gunn has categorically stated that Guardians was only ever meant to be a trilogy. And yes, we know Marvel hasn't said anything that would make us think the Guardians will return for another movie. But that's not going to stop us, and the fans, wishing and speculating, especially after the emotional conclusion of Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. The Guardians have had a long and varied history, not only in the MCU, but also in the comics, video games, and beyond. So what could a potential Volume 4 look like? Let's explore some theories that could build on what we've already seen and offer exciting new adventures for our beloved team. Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 left the team in a dramatically different place than where they started. Peter Quill, aka Star-Lord, shaken by the loss of Gamora and his own struggles with identity, returned to Earth to reunite with his grandfather. Meanwhile, Nebula and Drax remain on Nowhere, helping to rebuild the refuge for displaced beings. Rocket Raccoon is now fully embracing his role as a hero, having taken over leadership of the Guardians with a new team. The Guardians team now consists of Groot, Cosmo the Goodest Dog, Kagan Fell, and the MCU's answer to Rocky Horror, the powerful but naive Adam Warlock. Given that a fresh lineup has been created for the Guardians team, it's clear that a potential Volume 4 could happen. With the ever-changing lineup seen in the comics and various media, the possibilities are wide open for even more surprises. What I'm trying to say, Peter, is that this is an open line, right? So what could Volume 4 cover? There's always got to be a big old baddie, right? The MCU thrives on epic showdowns, and the Guardians' next mission could be centered around one of the most dangerous forces in Marvel's cosmic lore, the Annihilation Wave. Introduced in the Annihilation storyline, this invasion is led by Annihilus, a tyrant from the Negative Zone who launches an army to conquer the universe. In the comics, the Guardians are key players in fighting off this wave of destruction, making it a perfect setup for a larger-scale story. The Annihilation Wave would bring a new level of threat, much like Avengers. Infinity War did with Thanos. The Guardians would be forced to rally allies, explore uncharted regions of the galaxy, and face overwhelming odds. It's the type of storyline that could push Rocket and his new crew to their limits. This plot would also be a great way to expand on Adam Warlock's powers and purpose. Warlock was a major figure in cosmic battles in the comics, often depicted as an anti-hero torn between good and evil. Having been introduced as somewhat childlike and inexperienced in Volume 3, Volume 4 could see Adam maturing, mastering his powers, and even grappling with his darker impulses. Rocket's journey has always been about overcoming his tortured past and learning to care for others. So seeing him as the team leader would be a pivotal evolution for his character. Can he put his self-interest aside and truly lead the Guardians in their most dangerous mission yet? There's another compelling option other than the Annihilation Wave, Galactus. This would fit nicely with the MCU's latest relaunch of the Fantastic Four. Galactus' arrival in the new 4 movie would be an absolute game-changer for the Guardians. With Rocket's new team stepping up, they could face Galactus with the help of other cosmic characters like Nova. This storyline would not only offer a thrilling large-scale battle, but also give the Guardians a true purpose in the broader MCU. They wouldn't just be quirky space rogues anymore. They'd become critical defenders of the universe. Character development has always been at the heart of the Guardians franchise, and Volume 4 would undoubtedly continue that tradition, especially with Rocket and Warlock taking center stage. Rocket's change of responsibility has such scope for exploration. Throughout the first 3 movies, Rocket was often more concerned with survival than heroics, but now he's in charge, and we'd likely see him struggle with the weight of responsibility. Rocket's past, marked by experimentation, loss, and betrayal, would be key to his arc in Volume 4. Could Rocket overcome his emotional baggage and be the leader the Guardians need? Or would the pressures of leadership drive him to make the same reckless, selfish decisions that defined him in earlier films? Adam Warlock is another character primed for growth. In Volume 3, he was essentially a child in a god's body, still discovering his place in the universe. Volume 4 could dive deeper into Warlock's internal conflict, Should he use his immense power for good? Or will he be tempted by darker forces, perhaps even falling under the influence of the evil Magus? This inner struggle could offer rich storytelling opportunities as the team grapples with the uncertainty of Warlock's allegiance. Groot has gone from dumb tree to adorable sapling, all the way up to massive powerhouse. His latest incarnation is often referred to as King Groot. In the comics, Groot has an entire species of Flora Colossi, and his powers extend far beyond what we've seen in the MCU. Volume 4 could show Groot taking on a larger role, perhaps even becoming a leader or protector of his own people. Exploring Groot's origins and expanding his powers would give him more depth within the franchise as well as a more central role in the team. Then there's Nebula, who has been one of the MCU's most fascinating characters. She's undergone a massive transformation, going from Thanos' ruthless assassin to a key member of the Guardians. Now, with nowhere as her home, Nebula could face a new set of challenges. How does a former killer handle rebuilding a society? Volume 4 could show Nebula struggling with her past, perhaps even confronting former enemies who threaten her new role as a leader. Additionally, her complex relationship with Gamora could still be explored, even if they're on separate paths for now. Speaking of Gamora, her future in the MCU is one of the biggest lingering questions after Volume 3. The version we have now isn't the one who grew emotionally across the previous two movies. In Volume 4, we could see Gamora coming to terms with her place in the universe. She's no longer a Guardian, but she's still out there as a Ravager. The film could potentially explore Gamora's journey to find her identity without the shadow of Star-Lord's love hanging over her. I bet we were fun. You couldn't believe it. While Gamora may have distanced herself from the Guardians at the end of Volume 3, it's hard to imagine the story being fully closed between her and Quill. Even though their romance was left unresolved, Peter's feelings for Gamora haven't faded, and his emotional journey could be a major plot thread in the next film. In the comics, Star-Lord has always been deeply motivated by personal loss, and the MCU has echoed this through his backstory with his mother, then Yondu, and now Gamora. Peter returning to Earth to reconnect with his roots at the end of Volume 3 might give him a new perspective on his relationships. He could still want to find her, whether to rebuild their relationship or simply get closure. But Gamora won't be sitting around waiting. She's a Ravager now, with her own sense of purpose. In Volume 4, we could see her teaming up with her Ravager crew for a mission that intersects with the Guardians' new galactic threat. Whether it's the Annihilation Wave or another cosmic danger, Gamora's experience and skills would undoubtedly come into play. Maybe she's even trying to stop the same threat, and Peter's quest to find her leads to a reluctant reunion amid the chaos. This plotline could bring emotional weight to Volume 4 and continue the themes of love, loss, and growth we have from the other movies. Could Peter accept the new Gamora as she is now? Could Gamora begin to understand the love that the original version of her had for Star-Lord? The resolution of their story could be both heartwarming and bittersweet, providing closure while acknowledging that people and timelines change. While there's no confirmation of Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 4 yet, the MCU's cosmic side is clearly far from finished. The Guardians, now under Rocket's leadership, could continue to explore new regions of space, encounter new species, and protect the galaxy from even greater threats. If Volume 4 happens, it could serve as a bridge to even more cosmic adventures. The Guardian story has always been about misfits coming together to find a family in one another. Another movie could carry this theme forward with a new team and new challenges while still honoring the legacy of the originals. Whether it's through the fight against a cosmic menace, deeper character growth, or the emotional search for Gamora, a potential fourth installment would continue to expand the MCU in exciting and heartfelt ways. Don't get me started. Oh, really? I kind of want to know. Thanks for watching Movie Recap Pro. Remember to like and subscribe for more updates on your favorite Marvel films and characters. Until next time.